Brian. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to hot mics here. There we go. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the October 29th, 2025 meeting of the Olentangy Board of Education. I'll call this meeting to order. Mr. Jenkins, please call the roll.
Mr. Lester?
Here.
Dr. Dabrico?
Here.
Mr. O'Brien?
I am here.
All right. Would you all please join me in the pledge, please?
I
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, got in a hurry.
It's all right. We're really exploring the space here tonight. Unfortunately, a couple of our board members had work conflicts that they just could not get out of, so we're going a little light here, but we still do have a quorum, so we're going to move forward. I don't believe that there are any amendments to the agenda. All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
All right, a second?
Second.
All right, we're going to have a lot of those tonight. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, Mr. Jenkins?
Mr. Lester?
Yes.
Dr. Dabrico?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
All right, this is going to move really quick tonight, I think.
It is, yes.
So, all right, it's time for the President's Report. So first of all, we are always really excited to welcome people to the board meetings. We're always glad when people get to come here, even if maybe, I don't know, maybe some people might be here because of a government class or something like that, but we're still going to make it great. You know, we hope that you enjoy it regardless. So for the Board President's Report, I think as hopefully everybody in the community is aware, we have a no new millage bond issue that is coming up on the ballot here in just a little less than a week, about 6 days from now. Early voting's already going on, so you can do that as well. But as part of the President's Report, I've really tried to answer questions that I hear as part of going out and talking to the community. As an elected official, for all the students that are here, as an elected official, one of the most important things that you can do is get out and talk to the community and really understand what it is that they're talking about and their questions and all of their concerns and all of those sorts of things. So we always try to engage in all sorts of different forms, and this is just one of them where we hear questions and we try to answer them. Every board meeting since we approved the issue to go on the ballot, we've been trying to address some of these questions. Mr. Jenkins and Mr. Meyer are going to do it as part of their presentations, but I'm going to do a couple here as well. And two of the ones that I've heard most recently are, one, a little bit of confusion about this whole no new millage idea when it has to be listed on the ballot one way and what that means when we're saying that we're not going to collect any millage. And then two, a question I had not heard before, which is, well, what happens if the country goes into a recession or there's some sort of economic uncertainty? What happens to our ability to continue to do this as a no new millage bond issue? So as the first one, as we've said before, when you go to the ballot, it's going to say 1.77 mils. That is that the district could, but is not required to, collect more tax money to be able to pay for this no new millage bond issue. But we have been saying we are not going to collect that money. And Mr. Jenkins and Mr. Meyer could talk about this a little bit more. But people are saying, well, why does the ballot say this and you're saying something different? And we've been trying to explain that the existing debt service millage that we have is going to be more than sufficient to bring in the collections that we need to be able to pay for these new schools, so we don't need to collect this additional millage. But it helps sometimes to have other governmental entities that can speak to this as well, so that you can both trust us and trust the word of other people. So George Kaitza, the county auditor who is responsible for for those sorts of things, actually put out a quote. So I'm going to read this so that it's important for people to hear it. By law, our office, meaning the county auditor's office, is required to show the estimated millage required for any new levy as part of our certification, as well as on the tax estimator, which is on our website. The estimated millage for this bond levy is 1.77 mils for residential properties. However, the Olentangy School Board has adopted a resolution to structure the new debt so that no new millage, meaning the 1.77 mils, would be required to service the new debt. That resolution has been provided to our office. The resolution and the current debt service schedule are available from our office. This explanation is intended to provide transparency to voters and should not be viewed as either support for or opposition to the bond levy. In other words, we have pledged that we are not going to collect this millage. We passed a resolution to that effect. We provided it to the county auditor. The county auditor is confirming that that's what we've done, right? We have said that that's what's going to happen. And that's something that we have done repeatedly over time. This district in 2001, 2004, 2011, 2016, and 2020 did these sorts of no new millage strategies where it did not collect any additional mills to pay for these things, and we're confident that we could do so again. So just wanted to highlight that the county auditor has come out to confirm that those actions that we said that we've taken them, we've passed that resolution, we've provided it to them. Again, he's not allowed to, just like we're not allowed to say either support or oppose the levy. That's for the voters to decide. But that's just confirming that what we're saying is true, that we have pledged that we're not going to collect that additional millage. On to the second question, which is, okay, look, this no new millage idea, part of it depends on property values rising and all of these sorts of things so that we can continue to collect sufficient amounts of money. But what happens in a recession, right? If we suddenly face some economic uncertainty, is that going to jeopardize our ability to do this? And again, recent history is a good guide in this. The country, I don't expect all our students to be aware of this. Some of them may be born, I'm not sure, maybe not born in 2007. But from 2007 to 2009, this country went through something called the Great Recession. It was a pretty significant economic event. In 2020, around COVID, there was a smaller recession that happened. Again, the district has passed these no new millage bond issues in 2001, 2004, 2011, 2016, and 2020. And each time it has not collected additional millage. So when you look at that history of around the same time all of this is going on, we've had recessions and we've still been able to keep that promise. So we believe that helps to demonstrate that we're being serious about this, that we have the ability to do this and do it effectively. Again, though, if anybody has any questions, we're more than happy to answer them. Our role as a board, in this forum is not to tell you how to vote, but it's to give you that information, to provide that context. And again, for the students in the room, this is part of what it means to be a good government official, is to provide this information, to be responsive, to listen to community concerns. And so that's what we try to do. So we're looking forward to hearing from the voters. We'll see what the result is next week. And in the meantime, just let us know if you have any questions. I don't believe we have any committee updates since the last one. I don't think anything. So that means we can move straight on into our agenda, which the first thing is a presentation of early introduction to financial literacy, the Dollar Dragons website. So Mr. Reddy, we look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, is good?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. My name is Severe Reddy, and before I get into my project today, I just wanted to thank everyone for coming, and I wanted to thank the board for their time and give me the opportunity to speak here today about my project. So I'm here to speak a little bit about my project and what I've done for our school district. But before I do that, I want to talk about the numerous support I've gotten from our district. So I had an idea to create an app, but I just had an idea. So this presentation is really just to invoke how that idea turned into an action. So first, I want to give you some context about how I discovered my love for finance. So I've always been around finance in my life, as both my parents do it for a job, and I've just seen that all throughout my life. Yeah, I didn't discover the passion, the reason I want to do it, until I took 3 core classes at Olentangy Orange High School. Those classes were personal finance in 9th grade with Mr. Hipsher, marketing in 11th grade with Mrs. Gellenbeck, and lastly, AP microeconomics and macroeconomics in 11th grade with Mr. Hipsher. So first, I want to talk about what those classes meant to me and what I learned from them. So first, in marketing, we explored various units such as human resources, retail, operations, finance, marketing, accounting, and various more units. So that was important to me as it gave me a good structure and helped me expand my ability of finance and its presence in our society. Another class that helped was AP Micro and Macroeconomics. In the class, my teacher did a great job on connecting core concepts learned in the class to real-world implications and the effect that economics has on our society as a whole. This helped me think of economics in a broader context rather than just in the classroom. And lastly, I wanted to talk about personal finance. This class sparked my original interest in finance and reignited the fact that I can do whatever I want, not just what other people want me to do. So at first, I had it on my schedule because that was the year that it became mandated as a credit. However, I realized soon that I would have ended up loving the class even if I wasn't forced to take it. And now I stand that I believe every student that goes to the Olentangy School District should take personal finance. However, as I began to think of the idea of finance being broadened in our high school careers, it made me think that I wish I realized my love for finance earlier. And a great way to doing this is by adding finance to our curriculum in our early stages. So this idea mixed with the conversation I had with my dad about entering senior year. He told me that now that I'm entering my senior year, that I should have one goal, and that should be to leave Olentangy better than when I found it. So this slide talks about why I chose financial literacy as a whole. So I chose financial literacy for two main reasons. My first reason being that I've seen adults in my life indirectly struggle with financial literacy, and this has allowed them to be in very unfortunate situations. It helped make me realize how important financial success is to a fulfilling life, and with financial success comes being well-versed in financial literacy. So I saw it as a major opportunity if I could equip students in our community and members overall with an important life skill that would provide them a leg up for the future to come. The second reason I decided on financial literacy was because as I was browsing through DECA events, I saw the financial literacy project, as you can see on the screen below. It sort of jumped out the page to me, and I realized that it was destined for me to do it. So for those of you who don't know what DECA is a business club offered in all 4 of our high schools, and we've had major state, national, and international success with it. It's an international business competition that has over 60 events, and pretty much all of our schools send people to nationals, and we even had last year someone who won nationals from our district right here. So going back to discovering the project, the DECA project, along with my experience seeing adults indirectly struggle, helped make me take action to setting out to equip a community. I always had the goal in the back of my mind, yet discovering the project helped me transform my idea into action. So now I want to talk about how I created the app. At first, I was a little discouraged to learn how to create apps out of seemingly thin air. Yet, as I sat down and processed the fundamentals that I've learned throughout my time at the district, I realized that I already had built so many key fundamentals that came to building this app. For example, when I took AP Computer Science in 10th grade, it helped me build a foundation in coding and understanding how to create functioning applications. I used the principles I learned in personal finance and embedded them into the games in the app to make the topic appropriate for elementary age children. From AP Research, I gained context about education in our district, as my AP Research project was about assessments in our district and a utilization with them. And lastly, as I mentioned before, from marketing, I received resources to further this project and help implement it into our school district. So next, I want to show you guys the app and its effect, as you can see on this slideshow. So the app has 12 games with differentiation. There are 4 easy, 4 medium, and 4 hard. I would say the easy would be more suited for 3rd graders, the 4th for medium, and 5th graders would be better suited for the hard mode. Teachers can be able to differentiate knowledge gaps with the differentiation and concepts tested due to the variety of games. I want to talk a little bit more about the variety of the games. So the reason I chose to do financial literacy as a whole was because, as I previously mentioned, it's a core learning topic. But when I discovered that financial literacy is actually a part of our Ohio Learning Standards, I designed the app to meet the Ohio Learning Standards so that our future generation of students could also be meeting the Olentangy Learning Targets and the Ohio Board Learning Targets as they play the app. Along with the game, the app has 200 flashcards sorted by 20 core concepts and a daily challenge feature that updates every day. That feature consists of a randomized game plus a 10 flashcard review. The app also has no back-end coding, which means there is no data collection of our students. This is what helped the app recently get approved as an official educational learning platform for our district. I'm still working on updating and creating more games and adding more flashcards, and I assure you guys I will make it my priority to make sure new information is being added rather than the content just being rinsed and repeated. So, now that I showed the demo of the game, as you can see, it's still going on. Right now we're in the hard mode, which is a Lemonade Tycoon, which is one of the 4 hard modes. And then after this demo, I go into the slideshow about the topics that they can learn using flashcards and then the daily challenge mode. So as you can see, it simulates real-world concepts, and in this case, it uses a lemonade stand rather than students using a topic unfamiliar to them, because many students can relate to lemonade stands whether they participated in it, whether they saw it in media, and regardless. So now looking into the future, I want to talk to you guys about my steps for implementation and how I got to the app where it is today. After creating the app, I shifted my attention to something more important, which is implementing the app into our schools. I worked with my marketing teacher / DECA advisor, Mrs. Gellenbeck, along with my principal, Mrs. Ellis, in order to brainstorm strategies to implement the app into elementary schools. I ended up reaching out to local elementary school principals and vice principals alike about implementing it into their school buildings. This helped me set up meetings with them where I could go more comprehensive about how the app would benefit their school and benefit their students. Simultaneously, as I was talking about implementing this with them, I was conducting a testing stage where I could test the app and make sure there was no errors or bugs as I introduced it in our school system. Now in the present, I can say that I have 8 schools on board and am working with the schools currently to implement the tool gradually into our classrooms. We already have had some students in our schools using the tool, but my goal is to help broaden it to the vast majority of elementary school kids. Looking into the future, I hope that we can increase the number of schools on board and eventually get it into all 17 elementary schools. There are 5,550 elementary school kids in grades 3 through 5 throughout our 17 elementary schools. That means there are 5,500 kids that we can help improve and get them a jump head start on the opportunity to impact so many lives through financial literacy. I will continue to work with my school to keep pushing this idea while also finding other ways to better Olentangy and go back to my goal of leaving it better than when I found it. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Any comments?
Great. That was fantastic. It's
Yeah.
good. I was hoping we could maybe do a segment on school funding.
Yeah, right.
School fund, yeah, that would be good.
That would be helpful. So first of all, I love this, the motivating spirit of leaving the district better than it came from. And that is sort of true community service, right? It starts with this idea of making things just a little bit better, not just necessarily for yourself, for those that follow, right?
Yeah.
That is the true essence of community service, and it's what we try to instill in every single student that comes through the door. So to see you not just do that for the purposes of a college application or something like that, but to really put it into practice and to build that level of thoughtfulness into every single thing you do, not just, I'm not just creating an app, but I'm trying to do it in a way that resonates with younger kids, something that's accessible to them, something that's familiar. That's unbelievable. That's the sort of stuff that will carry you through, all the way. And what an amazing service. I mean, my kids could definitely use this, I know, but it's an amazing level of thoughtfulness and care, let alone the substantive knowledge that's building that. So sort of keep that spirit, right? Keep that motivating you on whatever your next steps are, because that's exactly the sort of thing that'll carry you to success. Success isn't just good grades, right? It is that level of thoughtfulness and care. So, but I do have a question. What's your plan after high school?
Hopefully I can attend a university undergraduate for finance, as I previously mentioned. And right now my goal school is the University of Michigan. So I'm still an Ohio State Buckeyes fan, don't you guys worry. But yeah, that's my goal for high school. And I feel like no matter wherever I go, I just want to continue my goal of leaving my community better than I found it. And I hope to do that at my undergraduate school.
That's great.
Just one question. Where's your mom at again?
In that corner recording.
Thank you for letting us be part of his journey. And this is really our why, is we get to see amazing kids, talking to him before. You've done a great job, so thank you for letting him be part of Olentangy. He's already made it better. So mission accomplished. Thank you. Let us know what we can do to help you get into college, even if it's Plan B at University of Michigan. Well done.
Severe, what else, what other things are you working on?
So right now, me and Mrs. Ellis are working on another thing that I worked on. So as I previously mentioned, I did my AP research project about formative assessments being implemented into the school. So now I'm going to be taking that research and hopefully using a student panel to lead PD Day 3 in the spring. And that way we can help broaden formative assessments implemented in our school and improve student learning even more in the high school level.
Awesome. Awesome.
Is this like a plant?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Really amazing work.
Thanks, Mom.
No,
Appreciate you.
It's the district.
no, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, well,
Yeah, good luck following
You
that,
have no
Mr.
chance to follow
is-
this young man up.
yeah. It's great. We have a lot of students out in the audience, so I'd like to welcome Berlin High School, again, AP Gov students, but this is why we do what we do. So,
Of course.
you know, we at the district level, we try to highlight student work throughout the year at board meetings. And this is exactly why we do it, because, you know, I just jotted some things down. The opportunities that we provide for kids, pre-K-12 in this district, phenomenal. And you just heard from Severe. So when you're able to take content and apply content into real-world, creating real-world applications, so academic skills as well as life skills, how important is that? Good job, Mom. Career aspirations, so obviously these are things that we do, again, pre-K through 12 in the student experience. Legacy, extremely important. Now, you didn't mention the word legacy, but that's what I jotted down, because leave OSD better than I found it. Tremendous goal, unbelievable. So that's huge as far as the legacy that you're leaving at Orange High School, but for the entire district. And life skills as far as financial literacy, you're spot on. Every one of our students should obviously take advantage and learn financial literacy, because it is a skill that you can use forever. And then he talked about the competitions and things like that, but I'm just going to bring this back to our portrait of a learner, right? And the four dispositions: purposeful, curiosity, resilient, and kind. And I think you threaded the needle through our portrait of a learner in that presentation and all you do. So awesome, awesome. So
Yeah.
all right. So I get to talk about the bond issue a little more. So again, Mr. Lester, at the beginning, you hear a lot of questions and we hear a lot of questions. So really want to talk about the impact on enrollment growth on our existing schools, because our why, and this is a straightforward issue, our why is we need additional space to accommodate the continued growth in our district. It's not slowing down. 400 to 500 students on average per year. And at the last board meeting, you all approved the enrollment report. And so we're going to continue to grow. So what that means without additional space, you can see class sizes will rise with no additional space to put students. We need places to put students. So trailers will be needed, but will not fully stop class sizes for growing. So that's one of the strategies we've used the last few years in the district to accommodate the additional students, to add space, to add classroom space. As we continue to push our facilities and resources beyond design capacity, it does put a strain on our investments. So, for example, parking, class sizes, hallway safety, overcrowding. And you really don't think about it, but overcrowding, obviously in the hallways, but also in the cafeteria and in our classrooms. Extracurricular opportunities only have so many spots, and we've talked a lot about that. So the more kids that we have in our buildings starts to take away from some opportunities that we provide for students. So we for sure need space to, again, accommodate that growth. So here you can see impact on all students. So impact on all students across our district, because this is a district issue. This isn't just one side of the district versus one side of the district. This is a district issue because we continue to grow as a district. So the average students per school in 28-29. So remember, if the bond issue passes, we will open elementary 18 and 27-28 school year, and then high school 5 and 28-29 school year. So you can see if the bond passes, our elementary K-5 enrollment average across the district would be 523. Middle school, we're not doing anything with middle school right now, so it would be a little over 1,000 students if the bond passes or fails. High schools, bond passes, when we're able to fully implement redistricting into the fifth high school, we will drop down to, on average, to 1,666, but just it will allow us capacity to continue to grow back up to that 1,800 capacity number that we use. And I do want to remind the board, and we talk a lot about this, and we ask ourselves the question, how big do we want our schools? And our facilities committee, which consists of community volunteers who serve for free on that committee, analyzed this and came back to our elementary schools and how we construct them. 625 capacity, middle school's 950, and our high school's at 1,800. The average enrollment of a K-5 school in Ohio is 452. Average enrollment in a middle school 6 through 8, 3 grades in Ohio is 503. Average enrollment of grades 9 through 12 school in Ohio, 686. So we're still well beyond that state average. And again, these are the capacity numbers that our facility committee recommends based on our footprints to provide the high-quality student experience that we provide.
And that, I mean, we have a lot of high school students here in the audience here. I mean, that high school number is really striking. We're talking about over 416 additional students per school, right? That's around the size of a graduating class
Right.
that is in the school. I mean, that is a very large number. And so you mentioned, extracurricular activities, whether it's, there's only so many spots on the football team, there's only so many spots in the play, there's only so many of these things. 400 additional students, an extra 100 students per class, that is a lot. Right, and then Dr. Devico and I were talking to a principal for another district a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about the size of our elementary schools, and we told him how big our elementary schools are already, and he said, with one principal? Yeah. And I was shocked at how many students that is. So, adding 30 additional students in an elementary school is a lot of additional students. And of course, this isn't every single one would have equal numbers. They're spread in different parts of the district, right? So you've got to accommodate that with trailers and other things. But I mean, these are real sizable numbers.
Yeah. In short term,
Can I add one more thing, Mr.
ahead.
Meyer? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, in short term, obviously, we have stretch capacity with our buildings, and we've utilized stretch capacity. So, for example, a couple years ago, when Cheshire was over 850 students, now ask the staff there then versus today. It's night and day. Berkshire Middle School, when we were approaching 1,400 students, way back when we opened Berlin High School, actually, our high school average enrollment was less than it is now when we opened Berlin. Could you imagine the district without Berlin?
Yeah.
I think the thing that should be underscored is that our high schools are not like elementary schools where every classroom in an elementary school is essentially the same. A high school has specialized classes all over. They've got science, art, computer science. These classrooms are, and even with Berlin, one of the features of Berlin is it had specialized science labs. When those classes fill up, you can't just make a new lab. You can't do another, you go over and see the stuff they've got at Berlin back in that wing. I don't even know what wing they call it, but they've got like unbelievable CAD stuff, and I don't know what they do at all high schools, but you can't just keep putting kids in the same classroom. You can't put 50 kids in a classroom and expect to have this. So yes, sports, yes, arts, but the academic stuff, there's a limit to how many students we're going to put in Severe's computer science class. And once that's full, that is a closed door, no more opportunities.
That's right. That's right. So also on here, we show if the bond fails. You can see average enrollment continues to climb in the elementary. Middle school, again, we're not addressing middle school this time with this bond issue. And then high school average enrollment over 2,000 with our 4 high schools. And I just want to emphasize this will continue to grow. So enrollment will continue to grow. And again, we just don't build a school in a day and a week. It takes, for sure, 18 months to 2 years for an elementary school and 3 years for a high school. So without new buildings. So these are the challenges that we're faced with and the decisions that we'll have to make administratively and obviously present to the board. And you can see, and we've presented this, I think, 3 times now to the board. So approximately 2,000 plus students redistricted. And I do want to emphasize, because we get this question about redistricting, passing or not passing, we're still going to go through redistricting. I would rather redistrict into new schools and balance enrollment that way, as opposed to redistricting out of existing buildings to balance enrollment. But that's what we'll be faced with. Non-contiguous school boundaries, and we talked about this, creating islands within neighborhoods to balance enrollment. One thing that we've been very intentional and thoughtful on through our redistricting efforts is geographically aligning school communities within our one Olentangy. So feeder patterns, elementary to middle school to high school. And we're very cognizant on the percentage of splits. So we're not sending 2% of kids by themselves to a new school. So again, just a lot of work that we do as a district, and some challenges that we'll be faced with. And you can see the trailers there too. And again, I just want to remind the board that when we construct and we add trailers on a school site, it does cost money. It's not free. So that money comes right now from our general fund, which takes away from our operating funds. And the cost to set up and operate a trailer for 1 year, $170,000. You can see just in this table here, it's a little over $1.3 million, and that's sunken cost. So we're leasing those, but it's an option that we're going to have to continue to look at in order to accommodate and provide space for our students. So, at the end of the day, we continue to ask ourselves, what kind of schools do we want? How big do we want them? So that's a question that we'll continue to ask ourselves as we move forward. So one thing I do want to show, and this was released, this is a video that was just created by our communications department. And if you ever see Adam, Adam is so I'm going to play off this. He really is passionate, he's curious, and he is so skilled at what he does in the end product that he creates. It's unbelievable. So this video encapsulates, really, I think it really captures who we are as a district. So I want to show this because it was just released this week, and as of today, so 12 hours ago, so it's already been viewed 9,000 times. 9,000 times. So you going to play that? All right.
Olentangy. It's not a city, it's not a township, it's not a county.
It's something more.
It's a community united by a shared commitment
to learning, growth, and opportunity.
A commitment to facilitate maximum learning for every student.
Nestled in the Olentangy River region, stretching across a 95 square mile boundary in Delaware County, is Olentangy Schools.
Ohio's 4th largest and one of its fastest growing school districts.
But size and growth are only part of our story.
In Olentangy schools, success is measured in more than test scores.
It's found in classrooms rich with curiosity.
In music, art, and performance. On fields, courts, and playgrounds.
In every challenge met, every dream chased, and every hand raised.
And behind every one of those movements are people who make them possible.
Olentangy is about the people, students, families, teachers, staff, community members
who show up for one another with pride, passion, and love.
Those same people, they are why our One Olentangy community exists today. At every turn, our One Olentangy community is there.
Laughing,
cheering,
encouraging,
guiding,
together.
Community takes moments and weaves them into something lasting.
Strong schools foster strong communities, and strong communities make strong schools.
And as we continue to welcome new families, a few things remain constant.
Our unity,
our pride,
our promise.
We are
one
Olentangy.
and together we flourish here.
So again, yeah, thank you. I watched that for the first time yesterday, and, extremely, again, honored to serve as superintendent of this great district. And there's so much pride in this community from so many people. And again, that video just captures, it talks about the people, it talks about the community, it talks about the opportunities that we provide for kids. And so just, again, unbelievable and extremely honored to serve as superintendent. And again, we're not perfect as a district, and one of our core values, we can always get better, but at the end of the day, we're committed to providing the best student experience for all kids who walk through every single one of our school doors. So just wanted to share that, and again, thanks to the communications department for a job well done on that.
And that's available on Facebook now?
It was released on...
It is, yes, you can find it on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, and then as the quality profile comes out this week in mailboxes, there's a QR code that you can scan on that to take you directly to the video, and then we also shared it.
In my letter, the letter that I sent out yesterday?
Yes.
There's a link to click on there. Yep.
Perfect.
You haven't read it yet?
Your letter?
Yeah.
Oh,
I sent it yesterday.
It just was going through every word, yeah. I actually did get the quality profile in the 3 seconds I was home before coming to the meeting. I mean, it's just really humbling just watching that video. Just being part of the Severe's journey and every one of our students' journeys. It's pretty overwhelming.
Absolutely. So know the facts. Reminder, Election Day is November 4th. And again, we're here to arm people with facts. Obviously, they make the choice at the ballot on November 4th. So we encourage all Olentangy residents to go out and exercise their right to vote. And then facts are available on our district website so voters can make informed choices. So you can see there is the link. So superintendent action items tonight on the board agendas. I have some specific human resource items. Recommend approval of students for early graduation. We have academic items, recommend approval of I think there are 4 student clubs that I'm recommending for approval at our various high schools. And then declare transportation as impractical for students this evening. And then important dates coming up, Drive a Bus hiring event. It's always a big hit, so that will be Saturday, November 1st at the East Transportation Center. Again, Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th. School Links parent webinar is Wednesday, November 12th at 6:30. So again, this is an opportunity for parents to learn and students to learn about School Links, and School Links offers a lot of information for families relative to career planning and post-secondary goals. And then our next board meeting is actually, we're going to work on changing that. So
Working on it, yeah.
Right now it's November 13th, but we will send out a update because we're going to move that to Wednesday, the November 12th. Okay. All right, Mr. Jenkins. Oh, any questions?
None?
Thank you, Mr. Meyer.
Thank you.
All right.
We're doing applause for you now.
I guess, yeah. We don't normally applaud
Hey, when
for him,
students
but
show
no,
up, that's
it's
good. That's why we.
Well, maybe they're applauding because the meeting's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
probably.
Right. All right, Mr. Jenkins, treasurer's report.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members. My slides this evening are relatively brief, but one of the things that we wanted to add to was just some of the feedback and questions that we're getting as a district. And there is a question or a term that I've just never really heard of before, but I'm going to use essentially as it was presented to me, and that is the no new millage strategy a debt stacking strategy? Again, I'm not quite sure what debt stacking means, but I believe that I've inferred that what they're asking is, are we consolidating and extending our bonds over a longer period of time so we can afford it? So the example might be that I would give to the average homeowner. Would you refinance a 15-year mortgage for a 30-year mortgage? I suppose someone might do that generally, as long as you realize that while your monthly payment might fall, the amount that you owe and pay over time will probably be increased. Well, no, we are not in any way, shape, or form consolidating or extending our debt. As you can see, we neither consolidate nor extend the life of any of our current outstanding bonds. When we do refundings, and by the way, those refundings have saved $34 million just over the last 10 years for our district residents. What we're doing is we're taking advantage of the fact that if you look at what's called the yield curve for government issued securities, if you're going to loan somebody your money for a longer period of time, you're going to expect to get a higher interest rate. Well, as you get closer to current, somewhere in the 5 to 10 year range, interest rates naturally come down unless the yield curve is inverted, which happens sometimes in our economy. But when that yield curve isn't inverted, we are able, and we build our issues where our bonds have call dates. That way, we can take advantage of lower interest rates and refund them. When we do that, we are in no way, shape, or form taking the existing debt that's being refunded and paid off and stretching it over a longer period of time. That is not at all what we're doing as a district. So wanted to be able to address that and then open the floor to, are there any questions about clarity of that?
Just to clear up a question that folks may have asked, is this $235 million, is this just a blank check for the district to do whatever they want with the money from the bond issue?
No. No, the $235 million cannot be used for operational costs like salaries and benefits and utilities. The $235 million must be used consistent with the language which is on the ballot. And the language on the ballot very clearly says that we're building an elementary, we're going to build a high school. There are some other projects that are mentioned that are a part of, but the high school and the elementary school, alone, plus contingencies for construction, some of the things you have to build into these types of projects are 90% or more of what's there. We're not going to take this $235 million and just simply, look over here while we do something over there. That isn't at all something that would be open and transparent, which is what we pride ourselves on. We are always open and transparent with our community. What we've said we're going to do, build elementary 18 and high school 5, that is absolutely, should the bond issue pass, what we're going to do.
Have you already put down a down payment on this without voter approval?
No, there's been no down payment put down. The district does have a tight schedule when it comes to, we would like to be able to open elementary 18 in the fall of 2027. We want to be able to open high school 5 in the fall of 2028. The design of the facilities, including some of the engineering and architecture, those sorts of things have to be completed. We've begun some of the costs of the design and the engineering, but those don't spoil. So what I mean by that is those wouldn't just evaporate if for whatever reason we're not successful on Tuesday. The other thing that you have to consider when you're doing construction, and the facilities committee, and if Mr. Gordon was here tonight, hopefully he'd be proud of what I'm about to say, because I've learned a lot listening to that committee. There are long lead time on certain pieces of equipment, specifically HVAC and switchgear. You couldn't just simply, go down to the switchgear store tomorrow and say, I'd like to order that and have it in a week. So we've had to pre-order some items that have long lead times in order for a construction schedule of, we have about a 2.5 to 3 year schedule for a high school. We have about 12 to 15 months for an elementary school. The good news is we have also, as a district, per Treasury regulations and Internal Revenue Code, we have passed a resolution, and we did it in 2023, that any monies that we've advanced towards the beginning of any of these projects, we can repay ourselves from the bond issue. So it's not like we just decided to do this without thinking through a lot of variables and factors that I've mentioned here. And to cap it all off, we're able to pay ourselves back for any of this work that we've essentially had to do in order for us to be able to continue on schedule like we are. We're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of around $5 million that we've had to begin to expend on some of this. And the biggest piece of that was the land that we bought. There would be no High School 5 if we didn't have land to put it on. So we bought land in 2024 as a part of this project. $4.5 million is what we would have paid for that ground, or there wouldn't even be a project.
Well, and if you wait a long time to buy land in this county, we know what happens.
That's
right?
correct.
So,
That's correct.
I mean, this is, part of this is the fiscal conservatism of getting things when you can, knowing that it's coming down the line. It's much better to have land early and hold on to it than to have to try to buy it 10 years from now.
That's exactly right. I wouldn't know what the environment would, and I guess the other thing you think about is, well, you could have waited and then you go buy the land. Well, we've been looking for additional space. And it's not like you just walk out into the community and say, yeah, we want that land, it's ours. It doesn't work that way. It takes a while. So at the end of the day, the things that we've done had to be done, but we've done them as we do or try to do everything, prudently, openly, transparently, and certainly we'll see what happens then on Tuesday, but it's not like what we've done is spoiled or goes away.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep. Then the only items I have this evening, again, donations. We have, again, a generous donation from the Olentangy High School Athletic Boosters. They donated some concession equipment. The board meeting minutes from October 16th, and then approval of the revised permanent appropriations. Permanent appropriations is the fancy way of saying our revised fiscal year 2026 budget. And I have no public participation.
Great. All right. Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Dr. Fetty with some board policy updates.
Yeah, my guy.
Love the enthusiasm.
Mr. Gordon's not here to be proud of you, Mr. Jenkins, but all these students are, so feel good about that. I'm here to give notice of FY26 number 2 board policy update. So this is the first reading. These will be back on the board agenda in November to seek board approval for these changes. The policy committee met on October 22nd to review these and recommend these changes. And most of the changes are driven by changes to state law, primarily out of the state budget bill. But I also want to make a special note that there are a number of anti-harassment and discrimination policies embedded in here. And what we are doing is simply consolidating policies to streamline them. So we're going from 9 to 6 policies, but no way are we changing the protections that already exist in the district. So I don't want anyone to get alarmed by that.
And I do, and there are some places where we've taken out some examples of specific types of harassment. And the idea is not to say that those things are okay.
Correct.
It's really intended to say it is broader than those things. We don't want
absolutely.
people to think that it is limited to only these 1 or 2 things. It could be a wide range of things. So, we don't want to close the realm of stuff that's protected.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Are there any questions about the policies that were presented in the packet? And if any come up over the next few weeks before the next meeting, I'm always happy to answer them if anyone wants to reach out.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Fetty. All right, you guys are in for a treat because this is going to be one of our shortest board meetings of the year. We're almost done.
What did I tell you?
Okay, so Mr. Jenkins, do you want to present the treasurer consent action items?
Yeah, board members, this evening I'm presenting items as one single consent agenda. I'm recommending the approval of 3 items by one single motion and vote, unless a board member or board members would like to pull one of them out for separate discussion and vote, and that is item A, approval of the noted donations in the treasurer's report. Item B, approval of the minutes from October 16th. And then finally, item C, approval of the revised fiscal year 26 appropriations or budget. Again, these are being presented as one single slate of items unless you'd like to pull anything out and discuss separately.
Would either of you gentlemen like to pull out either of these for any of these for discussion separately? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve them as a single slate of consent action items.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, Mr. Jenkins.
Dr. Dabrico?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Lester?
Yes, all right, Mr. Meyer, the superintendent consent action items.
Thank you, Mr. Lester. Board members, I recommend approval of the following superintendent consent action items A through H. A, specific human resource items administrative. B, specific human resource items certified staff. C, specific human resource items classified staff. D, specific human resource items classified substitutes. E, specific human resource items supplementals. F, approve students for early graduation. G, approve academic items, and again, those are student clubs. H, approve business and management items, and again, declare transportation as impractical. I'm asking you to approve these items by one single action and vote unless you'd like to discuss any of these items separately.
Would anyone like to discuss these separately? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve them as a single slate of consent action items.
Little drama. So moved.
All right,
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, Mr. Jenkins.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Lester?
Yes.
Dr. Dabrico?
Yes.
All right, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
My pleasure. So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, Mr. Jenkins.
Mr. Lester?
Yes.
Dr. Dabrico?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
All right, we're adjourned.